Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brady from Late Weather Forecast, and again, this is storm update number 3. Uh, Again, whether you want to call it a nor'easter or a coastal storm, it's your decision really, but I'm going to get going. Alright, as you can see here, the NAM depicting it out of, you got 3 major lows setting up. Got one right here, and switch colors here. Got one right here. Yeah, I have here. Got another one right here. The thinking is, play it out, that this low is gonna continue to stall because it's being forced, like, kind of continue in this direction, and this low traveling, well, more like this direction, and this low come in this and eventually combine. All 3 of these combine, well, more like in this area, probably that all 3 of them combine, but it's a chance it combines in northeast Massachusetts as well. Again, a lot of complicated stuff going on here, but we have these lows developing, and as you can see, which one takes over is still going to be difficult to tell, and regardless of that, there's going to be 2 strong low pressure systems that are going to be feeding off each other basically until combining in likely the Gulf of Maine, and just a very, very strong storm altogether. Very strong coastal storm that will be undergoing bombogenesis for sure. I mean, we take a look. I mean, even from this point, 997 millibar low, 22 hours out. I mean, just advanced 12 hours, and you get a 22 millibar drop already. I mean, you're going to get your bombogenesis. You're getting your bombogenesis in likely 14, 15 hours. Your rapid intensification, you're going to get that 24 millibar drop easily. So, I mean, we're talking 30, 35, 40 millibar drop even in likely around a 20-hour time frame, which is pretty incredible. So as this continues to develop out, you can see very heavy rain likely for much of the Northeast New Jersey, Hudson River Valley, well into upstate New York, and even some snow. We're going to be watching for the mountain elevation areas as well, potentially anywhere from less than an inch to even as much as maybe 3 or 4 inches for some elevations, maybe even some more elevated pockets even, maybe 4 or 5 or more potentially. Something to watch out for. But this is going to be going some very intense ramifications, and as we continue to follow this, you can see here it has this coastal low dominating, eventually combining, but look at that, 968. My thinking is that this gets somewhere anywhere from a 965 to a 970, 973-ish millibar low. I think we're looking in somewhere in that range. I think this has the potential to bomb out. Planetary alignments are connected with this. It's the Eris month in October, and this definitely some influence in that backlash. As you can see, some snow into even western Massachusetts maybe, and even, you never know, northern Worcester County. You never know, maybe some sleet or freezing rain maybe mixing in at some point at the end of the storm, late Thursday morning. So continue to watch this. But we take a look here at total accumulated precipitation, and these numbers are still coming in, but a fairly good number, as you can see where the bands are setting up. As I will zoom in here, but you can You can tell from those kind of where from these shades of pinks and blues where the bands are likely setting up. It appears they're called favored areas prior. You can't tell exactly where it's going to set up. This is obviously a favored area. I think this is another favored area, and this is potentially another favored area, something like that. Again, not this, but I was just trying to draw it out. I think this is the favored area potentially, and depending on where some of those stronger bands set up, could lead for some heavier rainfall totals, even some quick spin ups potentially, some EF1, even an EF2 we can't rule out. I think for sure it can't be ruled out, when we're talking about this. So if I were to put an area of risk, I would say, anywhere could see a quick spin up potentially, in this region. Anywhere really could see potentially a spin up of a tornado to happen, if not a severe thunderstorm. And again, with already strong wind gusts happening, a severe thunderstorm makes it all the much worse. And, severe thunderstorm usually categorizes as a 60-mile-an-hour plus wind gust. Well, for what it's already going to be, who knows how strong some of these thunderstorms are, and that's why the chance for tornadoes is definitely a possibility here. So now I'll show you the GFS now, and then I'll quickly show you the Euro, but you can see some of the rainfall totals here. That's good 3 inches, for central Massachusetts, and that's good 3.5 inches for western Mass and the Albany region. Some strong winds and combined with very heavy rainfall is going to make this a very disastrous storm, potentially a record low. Okay, or there's a record low for October potentially set with this storm. Okay, and you're probably thinking, well, Sandy was record. Well, that was a tropical system at one point. Talking non-tropical, obviously. And well, you might say, well, it's an extratropical. Still, it's a different kind of cyclone, okay? But there's a potential for some record-breaking low pressure for this part of the region for what may happen. And now I'll switch over. I should pull this up. All right, here we go. Pull this up for you now, and you can see, this is around 1 a.m. Thursday. Start 5 p.m. on Wednesday. As you can see, strong wind gusts already happening. Wind gusts around central Mass already 20 to 30 miles an hour. Out in the Berkshires and western Mass, wind gusts likely 25 to 35 miles an hour around the evening rush. But as we develop into around 7 8 p.m. time frame, those wind gusts start to become more 30 to 40 miles an hour out in western Mass. Still around the same in central and eastern Mass, but as you can see, Connecticut, New York City, wind gusts 45 to 55 miles an hour likely during the late evening commute in the early evening time frame. And look at this develop around Wednesday, 10 p.m. We're talking potentially 40 to 60 mile an hour, 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts at this point. For central and eastern Massachusetts, the Berkshires, clearly with that elevation ramping up those wind gusts, likely 40 to 55 miles an hour potentially in those higher elevations. Then we talk about these coastal regions around 10 p.m. time frame. We're talking 50, 60 mile an hour gusts at this point. And as we continue to go through the night, look at these wind gusts just ramp up. 80 plus miles an hour is, I would say, almost certain. I think a lot of people are undercutting the potential for these wind gusts, but you have to understand these model guidances are there for a reason. They're to provide input on what could happen, and this is very potential. This is a very strong potential that this could happen. But I'll just play it through a little bit, and as you can see, eventually developing, and this storm will move off eventually, but we got a strong storm. Okay, this is going to affect the whole Northeast, and it's Going to be very drastic.